if I told you that nothing in this world can truly hurt you? Not betrayal, not failure, not even death. You might laugh or get angry. But what if it's not a joke? What if it's the truth? There's a forgotten idea, whispered by a man who once lived in chains. He had no freedom, no wealth, no power, and yet he discovered something that made him more untouchable than emperors. His name was Epictetus, born a slave, crippled by his master, and still, he claimed, without hesitation, no man is free who is not master of himself. So how could someone who owned nothing, who was beaten, discarded, and left broken, speak with such power? Because he understood one thing: you don't suffer because of what happens. You suffer because of how you see what happens. That one shift changes everything, and if you truly grasp what he's trying to show you, then nothing, no insult, no loss, no fear, will ever be able to touch the core of who you are again. This isn't just philosophy, it's a door, one that leads inward, and what you find there might just make you invincible. Epictetus was born into slavery in the Roman Empire. His body was owned, his fate was decided by others, but somehow his mind stayed his own. There's a story, maybe myth, maybe truth, that his master twisted his leg until it broke. Epictetus didn't scream. He didn't beg. He simply said, "If you keep twisting it, it will break." And when it did, he only added, "I told you so." He lived the rest of his life with a limp, but something inside him walked free. How? Because Epictetus understood something rare, that the outer world is chaos, but the inner world is yours to command. He wasn't trying to escape suffering, he was trying to transform it. He didn't pretend pain wasn't real, but he refused to be owned by it. Stoicism, to him, wasn't about cold indifference. It was about deep clarity. He taught that we should never tie our peace to things we don't control. Your health, your reputation, your fortune. These things rise and fall like tides. But your judgment, your reaction, your spirit, that is the one fortress no one else can enter. And when you realize that, you become free, even in chains. You become whole, even when broken. Epictetus didn't theorize this. He lived it, and his life, though full, of suffering, became proof that the soul can rise above any storm. There is a truth so simple that most people miss it for their entire lives. You control that's almost nothing, not the weather, not the economy, not your past, not your loved ones, not even your own body in the end. But there's one thing, one sacred thing that belongs only to you: your mind, your judgment, your ability to choose how you respond. Everything else can be taken away. Your house can burn. Your name can be dragged through the mud. Your health can collapse. Your dreams can fall apart in a single day. But your inner world? Only you have the key. Epictetus called this the only real freedom, and once you see it, you start to realize why so many people suffer, because they've built their identity, their peace, their entire life on things they were never in control of. We get angry when someone lies to us, devastated when we lose money, shattered when a relationship ends. But Epictetus would ask, did you ever truly own those things? No, you were always just borrowing. And when the universe took them back, you mistook that return for a theft. Here's the revelation. You are only harmed when you try to possess what was never yours. Let go of the illusion. Stand in what is real. Then, the storms can rage, but your center will not move. This is the heart of Stoicism, and it's where true power begins. What does it look like to live this truth? To stop fighting life, to let go of control, and still walk with purpose. It looks like the soldier in a prison camp who refuses to hate, like the monk who faces death with a smile, like the single mother who loses everything and still wakes up every day with grace. These aren't fantasy stories. They're real people who've chosen something deeper than fear. Because when you stop demanding that life be fair and start choosing how you respond, You become untouchable. You don't need things to go your way to feel peace. You don't need others to change for you to forgive. You don't need applause to know your worth. Most people think letting go is weakness, but letting go takes more strength than clinging ever will, because to release what you cannot control is to reclaim what you always could. And suddenly, every challenge becomes a chance to rise, every loss becomes a lesson, every insult a mirror, every moment sacred. This is real-world power, not the kind that controls others, but the kind that masters yourself. And in a world of chaos, that is the greatest power there is. But if this truth is so freeing, why don't more people live it? Why do we still get triggered, still blame, still carry wounds that were never ours to keep? Because there's a hidden trap, a secret comfort in suffering. Pain can become familiar, drama can become identity. Being the victim sometimes feels safer than letting go and stepping into the unknown. You might say, I want peace. But are you willing to let go of the story that makes you right? Are you willing to release the anger that defines you, the sadness that gives you sympathy? We often say we want freedom, but we hold on to our chains like lifelines. Epictetus knew this. He warned that people would rather blame fate than accept that they have the power to choose, because once you see the truth, there's no one left to blame. Not your parents, not society, not your ex, not even God. There's only you and the choice you make, right now. That kind of freedom is terrifying, because it means your peace is your responsibility. But it's also the most beautiful thing in the world, because once you stop clinging to pain, you discover something beneath it. Something pure, still, and untouched. It's easy to nod along, to hear these words and feel inspired, but that's not enough. You have to live it. Knowing that suffering is a choice doesn't help unless you choose differently. Epictetus taught with fire, not fluff. He gave students exercises, challenged them, made them face themselves. So let's do the same. Imagine losing your job. Imagine being insulted in public. Imagine your partner leaving. Imagine being told you have 1 month to live. How would you react? Would you crumble, or would you remember that these things too are outside your control? One practice the Stoics used was negative visualization. They imagined loss before it happened, not to scare themselves, but to loosen their grip. So when the moment came, they weren't shocked. They were steady. Another practice was voluntary discomfort, sleeping on the floor, skipping meals, walking barefoot. Why? To remember that comfort is a luxury, not a need, that they could endure anything and remain whole. These aren't rituals of suffering, they're rituals of strength. When you practice letting go before you have to, the world no longer holds power over you. And in that stillness, you begin to feel something new. Not detachment, but deep presence. Not coldness, but peace. Not avoidance, but unshakable clarity. That is what it means to become untouchable. There's one more layer. Beneath the mind, beneath the body, beneath the thoughts, the emotions, the beliefs, there is something deeper. Call it spirit, call it soul, call it consciousness, or God, or the witness. It has no name, no shape, no beginning or end. It's the part of you that was never born and can never die. It watched your childhood. It watched your pain. It watched your triumphs and your losses. And it remains silent, still unharmed. Epictetus pointed to this when he said, "You may fetter my leg, but not even Zeus can fetter my will." His will was rooted in something eternal, and so is yours. You are not the storm, you are the sky. You are not the wound, you are the awareness of the wound. And the more you return to that still point, the more you realize you were never broken. You were only looking in the wrong direction. This isn't about becoming superhuman, it's about remembering you already are something far more. And when you live from that space, nothing can hurt you again, because you are no longer made of the things that can be touched. You are made of what endures. Let's pause here. Think about the worst thing anyone's ever done to you. The betrayal, the abandonment, the moment you thought you couldn't breathe. Now ask yourself, what hurt more? The event itself, or the story you told yourself afterward? They left me because I'm not good enough. They betrayed me because I'm not lovable. They failed me because I trusted too much. But those are thoughts, interpretations, narratives, not truth. Epictetus said, if someone succeeds in provoking you, understand that your mind is complicit in the provocation. You believed you were wounded, and so you bled, but the blade was made of thought. This is the hardest truth of all. You created your suffering, not because you're weak, not because you deserve pain, but because no one ever told you that you had a choice. Your mind was never trained to stop, to question, to unsee. But now you see it, don't you? The moment something hurts, what's really happening is you're fighting what is. That fight, that inner war, is the source of all suffering. And that means you can stop right now, right here. You can stop being hurt because now you know how.